Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you joined us today, and we appreciate that. So today we're going to talk about referral marketing. It's a system, it's a framework that I've utilized for my entire career to help get myself and never use cold marketing and cold leads, and we'll get into that as we go. And use a referral system so that way you get to meet more people and create longer term relationships because that's really the goal for everybody. And or you're here just to see the legendary Brandon Drake. That might be your goal here today. And to get into the CRM systems that he uses to keeps people engaged, which is magic if you ask me. And so one of these two things you're going to learn today in both. And we're excited. As Brandon just said, if you have questions, be sure you toss them in the chat for us, please. We want to be respectful of your time. We said 45 minutes, and that's what we're going to hold ourselves to. But we are going to stick around and make sure we address all those questions. And since it's a recording and you registered, we will be able to send this to you after as well in case you need to dip out or if something happens. So you'll get those, right? Yeah, gotcha. All right, so here we go. The Live Local framework. Sir, if you can click. Awesome. We are always told or started it that we have to start our careers with cold leads and cold marketing and buying leads and paid ads. And it simply isn't true, right? We are seeing this age of AI and this saturation. I mean, on this call alone, I mean, how many text messages or DMs are you going to get from bots and from all these other systems that are getting more advanced and better? We have to get back to our face to face. It's going to be the most effective way because the saturation in the market, we're going to see too much of this. And so we're going to show you how to slowly wean yourself off of cold leads, or if you don't use cold leads at all, how to grow that system. I always challenge people, and I always start by saying, think about who is really crushing it in your office, who just dominates. And most of the time, it's not that person sitting down making 400 cold calls every morning. Most of the time, it's that person in the back who just has referrals coming in. They know everybody, and they just have business coming to them. And so what I want to do is I want to make you that person. More than likely, that person that sits in the back of the room has been at it for 10, 15, 20 years, and they've built it up. They just happen to know all the people. And through the referral system that I've always used, we can expedite that. You don't need to wait 20 years to know everybody. We can get this system where you can know people in 2, 3, 4 years instead. We can make it much faster, make your business more sustainable, make it recession proof. So I'm going to also, as we go through, just ask you questions. You don't have to answer anything. You're just going to either write it down if you want to as you're taking notes or mentally write it down because we want to challenge you and think about what we're doing and what we're going to cover here today. So the first thing is we talk poorly about cold leads. That's how I usually start talking my smack about cold leads and how referrals are so much better. And so I wanted you to think about yourself, think and ask yourself, what is the goal? Why did you attend? Why did you join us here today? And as he goes to the next slide, I want you to think about that a little bit. So the referral system that I've developed over the last 15 years, I've used it in my business forever and ever, has three main pillars. You're going to see throughout this whole thing that I keep things simple. Most of you have regular businesses that take your time, that you run full time, and your marketing doesn't need to be your business. It needs to help your business. And so everything I do and everything I go over is going to be super simple. I want towards the end of this, you look back and say, that's it? That's all? And you're like, yes. Because if it's not simple, you're not going to do it. If it's not creative and fun, you're not going to do it. And so as we go over these, I'm going to have 3 pillars for this, or 1 step for this, or 1 video for this, because it's got to be simple. So the 3 pillars that I started with always, always, always start with the first one, which is know your business values. Know who you are. Has to start there. Nothing else can happen after that. Even if you work for a real estate company or a financial company or you work for whatever, you have your own system. You have your own values. The number of, think about it, I mean, the number of people that are like in real estate and switch teams or switch companies, like it doesn't matter. People are buying you. So it doesn't matter what the logo is. It doesn't matter. Only matters who you are and what your values are. And the question I get all the time from people is, all right, so how do I know my values? Start with just like a list. What things are important to me? What do I value? Maybe I'm a community central person. Maybe I want to be trusted. Maybe I'm somebody who does this or does that. Maybe I'm somebody who loves baseball. Write down the things that are important to you. And that's the simplest way to start. Another trick is think about what other brands and what other companies do you gravitate to, right? I find myself always looking at this store, or I love what they do with their music, or I love what they do with their logo. Where do I gravitate? And that gives you some hints and some clues too about what you enjoy, what's important to you, because you gravitate and you support other businesses. That's also a help. There's a lot of different ways. I have people do things like write their obituary, which sounds kind of morbid, but if you think about it, if you write about how you want to be remembered, that also tells you how you want to act and how you want to be. That's another good strategy, right? So there's lots of different ways. But be sure you establish your values, know what's important to you, know who you are first and foremost. Because once you have that first pillar done, the second pillar is knowing who you're going to collaborate with, who shares those values, who is in alignment, because those are the people you collaborate with. Those become your referral partners, right? Those are the people that you sit down with and we're like, hey, we're both very community oriented. We can get along. You don't have to be in the same industry. And then you start deciding and thinking about what their pain points are. How am I going to add value? How am I going to make these connections? Because these are people that are similar to me. These are the same types of people. We share values. We can get along together. Because when you start collaborating and referring people, you don't want people that don't align with your values because it's not a good look for you. You know, there's a number of times that I've had to say no over the years because people have reached out and wanted certain things. And I'm like, listen, I see your online presence. I see the way you interact with your clients. That's just not in alignment with the values for my company. I'm sorry. So you have to know who you are, what your values are, and then you start thinking about who else shares those values and what their pain points, the things that they need are going to be. First two. And once we decide through our systems what those pain points are going to be and what we can do to help them with those pain points, the third point is going to be the follow up. You got to be consistent. Once you establish these relationships, you have to, as Brandon's going to tell you, stay in touch with people. And those are the three basics, the three easiest things. So I want to ask yourself in your head, think about the three strongest business values that you hold. What is the things that you want to be defined by that explain you and your business? And think to yourself. Again, click again. Um, we're going to talk about giving. It's one of the most fundamental things, right? So that is the core of our being. We talk about pain points. We talk about giving. I spent a lot of time in workshops and listening to Zig Ziglar and Bob Berg and all these guys that always talk about like, oh, referral marketing and make sure you give. And if you give enough people what they want, you will in turn get what you want. And I've heard this over and over and over and over again. And every single time, I don't know about you, but I always thought to myself, what do I give? Like, what do I do? What am I going to give them? Because what do I have that they need, that they want? Right. And that's how I slowly got out of my very early, I didn't have too much cold leads, but that's how I got out of cold leads. I started giving, I started deciding what I could give somebody else that they needed to meet their pain point that made me stand out amongst everybody else they met. In my specific case, I did a video, a very specific video. I went to the actually the brewery. We had a brewery that was opening up nearby, and I went to them. And I said, "Listen, you're great for the community. I see what you're doing as far as like events, and you're doing food trucks, and you're just really fun. Can I do a quick 3 minute interview with you? Interview with you that I can share with my community?" And I just wanted to give. I knew that they needed attention because they were just getting started. And from there, I just kind of fell in love with it. I'm like, this was fun. I helped somebody in the community. I'm supporting local businesses. I'm giving something of a pain point because they needed more attention. And I hit all the different things that I needed to do. So I went from that one, I went to the bakery. And after I went to the bakery, I went to the school system because they were doing a charity event. And then there, and then there, and then before I knew it, I knew 30 or 40 local business owners by giving, by meeting their pain point, and being intentional about it. And so I slowly got myself out of the cold, slowly started giving to my community, slowly started doing it with intention because they aligned with my values. And I started meeting all the different people. The one shift that I did make along the way was I went from trying to grow a big audience, all the vanity metrics, to just knowing the business owners. Because it turns out the business owners know all the people. And so I made that shift and I continued doing my videos and I'd do them 3 to 5 minutes, super easy. And I'll show you the system, to show you the program. And I started meeting all the different people and I stood out because I was giving to them, meeting their pain point, and giving them something that nobody else did. And that's how easy it is to get out of cold and into referral marketing. So ask yourself, what are three ideal great referral partners? And think about why they make great referral partners. And then as I started meeting more people, I started shifting. I started giving more and more. And I started reaching out to more people. And it was really easy because once they see that you're giving, they start introducing other people and opportunities start coming up. And it's pretty, actually, a lot of fun. So I'm never going to ask you to drop your cold leads completely. What I'm asking you to do is take 15 minutes, reach out to a local business. Hey, listen, can I give you something of value? Yours might be different than mine, but attention is always an easy one. And I was doing videos, and if they really, really, really push back, I would do a podcast. Same concept, same ideas. And said, listen, I just need you to do well. I want to see you succeed. Can I do a 3 minute to 5 minute video? We just who, what, where, when, how. We just keep it super simple. I want to make you the hero. I want to see you succeed. I'm going to give you to the audience, right? And then I started getting introductions to other people. And I started getting introductions to charities. And I started like, it really compounded. It really started growing. But I basically just started with once a day, reach out to a business. Can I give you something? Next day, I mean, maybe I just do one more, one more, one more. And it just started growing and growing and growing. And it's super easy. So the equipment review, that's the big one. So people always ask, great. They say, okay, I get it. I can give. I love doing video. I can reach out to different people. I can make connections that I would never would have made before because I'm giving us something of value that no one really else is. If you think about it, not many people reach out to a local business. Hey, how can I help promote you? Can I give you something that you need? It's a rarity. It's weird. But then again, you have to keep it simple, right? The only three things that I need to do this. Well, I've been doing it for a while. So at the beginning, I had to have the camera and the whole setup, and it was a lot more than it is now. But even back then, I had black hair, not gray hair, and it's like 50 pounds less, and et cetera, et cetera. But nowadays, when it's super simple, you just need your phone, you need a lapel mic, and you need a tripod. That's it. Lapel mics are like $9 on Amazon. Make sure it plugs into your phone. Tripod was like 12 bucks. You don't have to get the super fancy one. And just keep it super simple. And you'd be surprised at like how something as simple as this, giving to your community, doing a little something like this will open up the doors and meet you people you never met before. We did an event at a school program, and some of the people coming through the line, I just was having a chat with, and he happened to in our community. I didn't know this. He making Netflix movies. I'm like, that's crazy. Now, how would I said, hey Sheldon, man, let's sit down and have a cup of coffee? Yeah, yeah, maybe let's do it. Instead, I was like, hey, listen, I've got this podcast and I want to sit down and interview you for your next movie. He's like, yeah, next Tuesday. Let's do this. I want to promote. I want to get myself out there. It shifted the conversation dramatically. And now he knows me. He remembers me. I gave him something that he needed, more attention, met his pain point, and I made a connection that nobody else in that event did. He probably talked to 30 or 40 people that day. But I stood out because I gave him something that he needed. And it's that simple. Now, again, for me, it was videos. And you might be something different, but I wanted it to be something that I could scale. Wanted to be something that I could give and have fun doing. I talk about fun a lot. If you give me a follow, like you see, I use the word fun quite a bit because you got to enjoy it. And it's got to be simple. So whatever your give is, doesn't have to be video, but it surely is easy to do video and it sure is scalable. And people sure do need more attention when they run their businesses. And it makes you stand out more. And the equipment's easy. Like I said, those three things. Lapel mic, your phone, tripod. Under 50 bucks. No cold lead system can do that, what you're about to do, for under 50 bucks. It's not happening. And like I said, doesn't take much, right? If you're doing cold leads, let's say you're doing 2 hours of cold calls. Great, good for you. I love that you're a masochist. You can enjoy that kind of abuse. I never enjoyed that because it felt like I was paying somebody thousands of dollars to have somebody in our line just yell at me. I never really loved it. But what I started doing was I started cutting away. Hour and a half of cold calls if I wanted to, but 30 minutes of reaching out to local businesses. And I did that for a couple of weeks. And then I turned it into an hour. A couple of weeks, met three or four more, started putting people in my pipeline, started getting the introductions to more and more and more people, started seeing who they knew and who I could help them with. And once you start giving and asking people what you can do to help them start reaching their pain points, the more people you meet. You just need that give. You just need that quick give, something that you enjoy that you can build upon. Um, so the chat questions threw me off a little bit. I started like side reading them. I'm like, wait a minute, is we okay? Everybody's doing all right over there? Sorry. Squirrel brain, you know? So that's all it was. It was simple. And I started doing out. And then after like maybe a month, I was completely no cold leads, never done a cold lead ever again because I was reaching out to enough businesses. I was making enough contacts. I was putting people in my CRM. I was engaging with people. I was starting to meet people I didn't, never would have known. And I went from my database went from 7 people. Now I'm at like 7,600 people. And that's just through this quick and easy system of just reaching out, doing a video. If they really, really hated it, I would do a podcast, but mostly videos and reaching out to them, adding people to the system, making my connections, following up with them. How can I help you? What can I do to give? And not being salesy. Because if you do this, and I know some people that still do this, they will go out to do the video, they copy what I do. And then as soon as the video's over, they try to sell something. Ah, you just ruined it. Because they know that you did it just to make the sales. Instead, as you're doing the video, like, hey, that was great. Do you know another local business that I'd love to help because I really enjoy this and I like meeting local business owners and I love what I do? Oh, yeah, you need to meet Fred. She runs a flower shop, blah, blah, blah. Cool. Can you introduce me? Yeah. Oh, yeah, because you're just doing this for free. You're just trying to help the community, right? And I know other people that do this same program, but they charge people. I'm like, yeah, I could charge people, but this is replacing my cold leads and my cold calling and my cold crap. So in my head, I'm thinking I'm exchanging money for time. And so I do it for free because I don't want to pay for leads. I want to meet people. I want to build my referral systems. I want to know more people. I don't want to charge. I want to just meet more people. And then as soon as that catches on and they know you're actually doing it out in the community, you're out there genuinely trying to help, it grows way faster. It really snowballs very quickly. But it really came down to when I decided what the pain point was, what my give was, and then just taking half an hour, 20 minutes a day, just reaching out to people. It was pretty easy. And that's all it takes. It should be super easy and it should be fun. It's fun knowing these people. You will have a hard time finding people more energetic about their business than local business owners. They could talk about their business for hours, and some of them do, but it's a lot of fun. And I like to do food trucks a lot too because food trucks will let, hey, that was great. Here, try some of my, oh yeah, I will try some of your new poke bowl or your new whatever. They love handing out food and I love eating it. So there are so many fun extra benefits to that as well. So take a think about some of the businesses you'd like to reach out to, some of the owners, some of the people you would like to meet, some of the give that you would like to, start providing to your community. And I think that's my last one because I need the next step is now that you're out there meeting people and making those connections is staying engaged with them. I think that's the next one, I believe. Yeah, see, yeah, I know my stuff. So there you go. So we'll hand it off to Brandon. Now that you have people and you've got an easy way to meet them and stay in touch with them and make those contacts, get your foot in the door through a simple system that works. He'll talk to you how to keep people engaged, and then we'll hop into some of the questions that my squirrel brain went off to here. And then have at it, Mr. Brandon.
All right, here we go. So, yeah, I'm gonna get into the action part. So, I'm not gonna go through the I'm gonna probably take this off of presentation mode so you could see because I want to show you like demonstrations on how I do the follow-up, not only for myself, but I implement for my clients as well. So, I'm gonna talk about two types of people to follow up with, your business partners or your networking partners and your prospects. The thing is, all of them are prospects. The reason why all of them are is because your business partners, your networking partners, they're going to be what I call golden gooses. Like if they get to know you better, you foster a relationship with one another, you're both going to contribute to each other's growth, and that results in business on both sides. And obviously, your prospects, your standard prospects, if you nurture that relationship, eventually they'll make a decision of yes or no. And that's all you want, a yes or no, and a way to nurture those people. So I'm going to talk about these systems that I've implemented. And the follow-up framework, keeps a top-of-mind strategy. So in this case, I'm going to talk about networking partners. So when I'm meeting a networking partner, my main goal is to ask a lot of questions, be very inquisitive, and see how I could support them. Yes, we're going to have a good conversation, but a lot of people stop short where they're not documenting that information and it's not saved anywhere. So you're most likely going to forget those people. And so I'm going to share with you like how I'm providing value and I have fun doing it too as well. So in my demo, which I'm going to share with you right now, I'm going to get rid of this here because I'm going to go into straight demo mode. So for example, this is Brandon Drake. Obviously that's me, but I use this Brandon Drake profile here as a test. I test a whole bunch of different things to make sure everything's working in my CRM and for my clients as well. So say for example, I met Brandon Drake. He's a networking partner of mine and I like him a lot and I want to collect his information, meaning collect his bio. And the reason why I want to collect his bio and his information is because I could remember it, refer to it, and actually make those proper connections for him. And again, like Billy said, we're providing value, and I'm basically utilizing my skills to provide those values to people. So the one thing that I do is after I meet with somebody, I'm gonna always send them up a follow-up email. So a lot of people, what they'll do is it'll be an automated email sent to somebody, and you could tell that it's canned. That's fine. That's not my style. Okay. I'm not going to do that. But I use a template and then I modify that template accordingly. It's called a snippet. A snippet is just a template. So when I meet with somebody, after I meet with somebody, I'm going to go to my follow-up main email and it has everything already. I don't have to recreate the wheel, write stuff up. Basically, along the lines of, hey, it was great meeting you. And the main goal that I want to get out of them is I kindly request that you complete my networking intro form by clicking here. When they click here, it'll open up a form that looks exactly like this. Bio, target market, strategic partners, customer pain points. The reason why this is so important to me is because when I actually tell this person in the meeting, I need you to save your bio into my CRM because when I connect you to somebody, I want to properly represent who you are using your words. This is your words here. Okay. I don't want to misrepresent you. And also, too, it's a way for me to remember you. And now when you hit save, it's saving into my database. So now you're searchable and I could connect you with people accordingly. Okay. And also, too, I want to know your target market, your strategic partners, the pain points you solve. This is all searchable. You're creating a healthy database for me, as well as the other thousands of people that have put in their information so I could actually create good connections. And what I do is after they fill it out, I will get notified via email. Also, too, my CRM will generate a task for me based on you submitting your bio. This makes me proactive in order for me to look at your bio. For example, say you put in your bio, and your bio is now in my CRM. So now in my CRM, it'll say, "Oh, Brandon, his strategic partners, these are his strategic partners. Oh, tech and marketing professionals. Let me connect him with tech and marketing professionals." So what I'm going to do is in my CRM, I'm going to type in marketing. So if I type in marketing, I'm basically providing value to Brandon right away. Marketing. If I type in marketing, it's going to show all my marketing professionals. I have 221 marketing professionals in my CRM. These are all people that have actually, let me go into my NIF. I made a mistake. This NIF, this means these are all the people that have submitted their bio into my CRM. If I click on that, I've had 1,626 people that have networked with that have agreed to save their bio into my CRM. So now I have a great database of people to connect my networking partners to. So say if Brandon is looking for marketing professionals, I could type in marketing and it'll show all my marketing professionals. And here's the thing. Everybody's scored based on engagement score, and I'll talk about that later in my last slide. Engagement score just basically measures how active a person is within my CRM. It's basically the people that are more likely to create a mutual partnership with. So these people are really high engagers. I'm gonna basically reward them by connecting them with somebody that's really engaging because it's most likely they're gonna have a good one-on-one together because it shows in their score that they're really highly engaging. But say, for example, Brandon, he was very specific. He said, "You know what, Brandon? I want to meet SEO people." So if I go, this is just an example. Like there's so many different ways to search your CRM. I'm just giving you different ideas of how you could actually set up your CRM. So I'm gonna do is I'm gonna search all the people that are into the industry of SEO. So if I type in SEO, if I hit apply, now it'll show all my SEO professionals. I have 42 SEO professionals. But the thing is, I'm gonna reward people that are highly engaging. Like for example, this lady Noriko. When I was in Hawaii, I met her. We met one-on-one. We strengthen our partnership, and it shows because she's always giving me referrals. She's always opening up emails. That's how I'm actually grading people in terms of how engaging they are. Their system is actually doing it. So I could actually make a value added connection right now to to Noriko and Brandon. So essentially, if I go to Noriko, because you could see her bio, she filled it out. I'm going to provide value to Brandon right now. I'm going to say, you know what, Brandon, since you fill out my networking intro form, I'm going to make a connection for you. And I'm going to say, do you want to meet? And then I'm going to basically just paste in her bio. And that's it. Damn, there it is right there. So I hit send. He's gonna be like, wow, you're really quick, Brandon, and making connections. And you know why? It's because I built a system in place that allows me to be organized. And like Billy said, when you provide value to people, they'll remember that. And that allows me to stand out from all the other crowd of networkers. Now people will remember me and they'll return that and they'll return and reciprocate and give me good connections. And in turn, we've created a mutual partnership where both parties are growing. I've built my business based on referrals because I have a system to nurture these people, give them up something of value, and in return, both parties grow and create business together. And here's the other thing too as well. I've met with Brandon. He filled out his networking intro form. I gave him something of value of a contact that would be beneficial for him. Here's the thing as well. I want to make sure to follow up with him. This is where a lot of people are dead in the tracks where they don't have good follow up because they don't have a system in place. They're maybe manually following up, but manual could only do so much. And it's just not efficient. So if I met with Brandon here, I'm gonna basically enroll him in my networking nurture campaign. This really helps with efficiency. So if I go into my actions, I created this workflow where I say plus and I say networking nurture. So I met Brandon. I like him. I want to make sure to nurture that relationship with him so I don't let that opportunity slip through the crack. He's not an opportunity in terms of a customer, but he's an opportunity in terms of a really good referral partner. And I need to stay top of mind so he remembers me so down the line he could give me referrals. So what I'm going to do, I have this networking nurture. I'm going to follow up with him in 28 days. So in 28 days, essentially he's going to get an email saying, "Hey, how's it going? We had a great conversation. Let me know if you need any support with anything. Also, too, if you want to strengthen our relationship together, click here to book a meeting with me. That calendar appointment scheduler is within my CRM, so he could book a meeting with me. Also, too, the other valuable thing that I tell him in the email is, hey, if you need to update your bio, click here. Because we all evolve and change, and I want to make sure that I have the most updated professional bio about you so I could properly represent who you are and make even better connections for you. So they're like, wow, Brandon's giving me something of value. He's offering a time to reconnect. He's offering a time for me to update my bio. This is great. And here's the thing, when he clicks on his bio, it'll actually be pre-filled in if he already had filled it into the database, then he can update it. And the thing is, when he submits and updates it, I get notified. Because I get notified via email, I look at it, I'll be proactive and make a connection for him. And people see that people see how much you care and how much you want to provide them value. And in return, you're strengthening that relationship. And over time, those people will refer you business. I've done that thousands of times. And because of that, it's creating business not only for me, but for the people in my network. So if I've created a system of giving, and that system as giving has created winning situations for both parties, which I care about, you know. So I really enjoy this process, and you know, this automation allows you to just streamline your operations. And the thing is, even if you had 50 referral partners, networking partners, how are you going to manually send them an email every so often? And here's the thing, in that workflow that I described to you right now, I forgot to say this, networking nurture. In 28 days, he'll get that email. But then after that, he gets an email every 60 days. I don't have to remember to do it. It's already automated. And people understand that I can't send them a personalized email to all my thousands of contacts. But the thing is, the human touch comes into play when they update their bio, which not forces me, but makes me know that they've updated their bio. So I'll connect them with somebody, or they'll reconnect with me and have a meeting. And that's where the human connection comes into play. So it's always good to have a balance of automation, AI, technology, and the human connection, which will never go out of style. Okay. So that's the one thing that I do to provide value that generates business for me and for my networking partners. And again, this system is a marketing strategy, a top of mind strategy that allows me to grow my business and to just reiterate, I'm definitely human first. I'm value driven approach by prioritizing generosity and genuine connection. Obviously, I'm giving people good connections by me going into my CRM, as I see here, by going into my connections of people where I have thousands of contacts in my database. And because of that, I could provide them value. Now I have across the board 6,666 contacts in my database, which is kind of, yeah, it's kind of weird. But anyways, um, basically, I definitely want to show consistent engagement and it builds momentum and transformation because when I'm consistently engaging with people, a lot of people will remember who I am and then give me referrals, and that return grows my business. And because they're helping me grow my business, I'm going to return the favor too as well. All right. So I know I belabored the point of like creating good relationships with your networking partners. I'm going to talk about with prospects. So managing prospects without feeling salesy. Okay. So the main thing is you want to lead with value. For example, I'm giving a workshop now. Me and Billy are leading with value. We want to provide you with information that you could actually go home, take and apply and benefit your business. I offer like guides and checklists and stuff like that. Those are some things that have something of value to basically establish credibility, care, and expertise. When you're showing something of value, people remember that. People say, wow, Brandon helped me. Like, this is awesome. Like, I'm going to refer him later or whatever. So it's all about providing value, not being so salesy. Like, I just don't do that. That's not my MO. I serve as a guide to help the hero thrive, and you guys are all the heroes. People that are my networking partners, my prospects, my customers, they are the heroes. I'm just the guy to help them thrive. And now I'm gonna basically share with you like how I deal with a prospect. I have multiple different types of prospects, but I'm gonna give one specific use case. Okay. So the thing is, I'm gonna go into my test contact, Brandon Drake here, and I'm gonna pretend he's a prospect. Okay. So essentially, I have a meeting with him. And the thing is, no prospect is going to buy right away after I do a demo with them or after I do a discovery call or whatever you want to call it. The thing is, you need to make sure to follow up. Um, like everybody says, there's fortune in the follow up. I used to get annoyed by that phrase, but really, there is. It really is. So the thing is, I'm going to send them a follow up email. I could do it from scratch. It takes too long. I'm going to use my snippet, and I believe it's CRM consult follow up. So I'm going to find my follow-up, which is so I have a template email called CRM consult post consult interest, meaning they're really interested. I know they're not going to buy right away, but during the meeting, I always ask them, "Hey, I know I could help you. When is a good time to follow up with you?" And I usually sometimes give them choices. Is it 1, 2, 3 weeks? A lot of times they say 2 weeks, and I say that's great. I just want to give you time to breathe and make sure that you've inhaled everything that given to you because it's a lot. But I just want to provide value to you and make sure I respect your time. So essentially, I send them a follow-up email. I'm using a snippet. Again, I have a lot of pre-made emails. And then here's the thing, it's not going to be canned. All these bullet points are going to change based on what we talked about. I'm going to change whatever I need to change and then hit send. Okay. So I follow up with them. Now, that's just the initial follow-up. Now is where the really automated automation comes into play. So if I go into actions, I'm going to follow up with them. So I have a follow-up for people that are interested in my CRM consulting services for building out their specific CRM, like customizing it for them. So if I type in build, these are for people that are, I have a nurture for many different scenarios because I want to be very specific because people will notice if you send a canned spray and pray marketing campaign and they'll be like, yeah, this doesn't even apply to me. Why is he sending me this? And here's the thing, when you do that, the email service providers will penalize you. If people don't look at your email constantly, if people are marking you with spam, you will get penalized by the email service providers, and it's most likely that your emails are going to go into the promotions and spam folder. So you really have to follow good practice in terms of segmenting your target audience. So in this case, I'm only going to be sending to people that are interested in my CRM building customization for them. So in this case, Brandon said it's okay for me to for you to follow up in 7 days. So I'm going to say CRM consult, build, nurture in 7 days. I'm gonna hit add. Essentially, they'll get an email in 7 days saying something along the lines of, "Hey, it was great connecting with you and learning more about your issues and your CRM and how I could help custom build it out. Here's the benefit of having a custom CRM. And then if you want to learn more, click here. We could book a quick meeting or whatnot." And here, the thing is, it's the same format. I'm providing them value of a benefit of the CRM, so they add to their knowledge base. And if they want to connect with me to reconnect and maybe follow up on the sale, they could click here. And here's the thing, I have like 70 or 80 emails, so my nurture goes on forever. But the thing is, the way it works is they'll get an email 7 days later, a second email 7 days later, a third email 7 days later, after that, 30 days later after that. Because I don't want to overburden them with so many emails. But the thing is, I've had people buy 3 months later, 6 months later, a year later, 2 years later, because I have a nurturing system in place. And the thing is, you can't do that manually. Even if you had like 10 prospects, you cannot remember to follow up with them every 7 days, every 30 days. It's not going to happen. You have to have a system in place to be consistent in nurturing that relationship and creating a top of mind strategy. So I'm not going to click on add, but it's just a test. Okay. So this is some of the things that I do. I don't want to go too much into the weeds, but I just want to give you ideas on what I'm doing behind the scenes to create a nurturing system that allows you to provide value, which then in turn creates opportunities for you. I not only do this for myself, but I am my own test dummy. I test out a lot of things on my own, and then I apply it to my clients because I've become a better CRM consultant, so I could help them, nurture those relationships and make sure they don't lose out on opportunities when it comes to the follow-up. All right. So now we're good on time. Cool. So again, with my post consult workflow, it's value driven approach that builds trust and confidence. Like all I'm doing is providing them the benefits of having a CRM. In your case, you're gonna be a specialist at what you do. You're gonna provide one little item that's of value that you think would apply to them that would benefit their business. I'm only talking about one thing. If you want to learn more, click here. You reconnect with them. That's it. I don't want a long drawn out email. Like some people like 3, 6, 7 paragraphs. Nobody's gonna read that. Nobody's going to read that. And you want a consistent nurturing framework that prevents prospects from slipping through the cracks. Again, I share with you mine. This is my cadence: 7 days, 7 days, 7 days, and 30 days after that. But it's totally up to you. You know your audience better. And that's what I do with my clients. Like, I really need to understand their business and their audience. And then I'll make recommendations on how the cadence is going to go. Uh, if somebody says I want to email every day, you're not a good fit for me. Like, I don't want to be involved in that process of you like badgering people every day. That's not the type of client I work with. And also too, prospects appreciate professionalism and the desire to help, which either creates customers or referral partners. Because I had prospects that didn't become customers, but that's okay. They were happy with the experience because I provided them knowledge on CRMs. And those people, because they had a good experience, they end up referring me business. So no matter what, you don't want to burn the bridge, whether they say yes or no. I'm happy with a hard yes or a hard no, rather than people that are on the fence. So this nurturing system allows you to do that. And then the last thing I want to talk about is measuring engagement. You know how I shared with you how Brandon here has an engagement score of 4,019? And the reason why he has such a high score is because I use this profile here as a test to test out all my, what do you call it? All my features that I'm implementing in the CRM. So if I go into my smart list and I go to all, if I go to all, you see Brandon Drake has the highest by far, just because because I'm testing stuff out, and a lot of people that have a high score of my customers because they're always interacting with me. So to let you know what engagement score means, engagement score is basically measuring how active a person is within your CRM. The people that are more active are the people that you want to focus your efforts on. So it's basically combining behavioral data and human intuition to calculate engagement score. For example, if you're a prospect, how likely will they buy? If you're a networking partner, how likely will they refer? The people with a higher score are more likely to buy, or the people with a higher score who are networking partners are more likely to be good referral partners that want to create a mutual partnership. So some of the things that are tracked, and this is like the system tracking. I've created the logic behind the scenes, and now everything is working like a well-oiled machine. So for example, if somebody opens up an email, they get awarded points. If they click on a link, they get awarded points. If they reply, they get awarded a certain amount of points. If they show up to a meeting, they get points. If they're a no-show and they didn't give any reason, they get negative points. If they subscribe, obviously positive points, unsubscribe, negative points. Basically, these activities are measuring which people are truly active, and it basically tells me who I want to focus my efforts on. Also, too, not only is the system grading these behaviors, but also, too, I'm also using my own human intuition. So, for example, I have tags in my CRM associated with people. These are keyword descriptors of people. So, examples are salesy, personality, trusted advisor, personalized service. I'm sure you could tell based on that list which one is going to be awarded negative points. Salesy. If a person is salesy, I'm going to mark them as salesy. They get a whole bunch of negative points because that's just a sign to me that they're not somebody I want to introduce them to. I don't want to do that to my network. Why do I want to do that? That's just not doesn't make any sense. So I'll give you an example. Say for example, in my list of tags, I said, you know what, Brandon, he's genuine. You know, he has a personality. He's a trusted advisor. All right. So see my score is 4019. If I hit refresh, it's gonna go up. So you can see it should go to 4020 something or whatnot. See, it's 4022. So not only is my own human intuition awarding people points, but the system is also grading it. So now I have a holistic score in terms of how engaging a person is. And that helps me make data-informed decisions over who to focus my efforts on. Because the people with a low score, they're not really serious about networking or they're not really serious about buying your services. I need to make sure that I'm making data-informed decisions over who to nurture my relationships with. Those people that have a higher score, I'm going to reward them accordingly to make sure I give back, give value to them. So as you can see, I've organized everything by the highest score to the lowest score. Obviously, I told you guys I'm the highest score because I'm testing stuff out all the time. So I'm don't make me the bar. Like that's just me just testing stuff out using this profile here. But that's really the importance of engagement scoring. It's basically allows you to determine who to focus time on. You know, focus time on people who are most aligned, most responsive, and most likely to contribute to your growth. Because even after 100 contacts, you're not going to remember who's truly engaging. You know, I know I have 6,666 contacts. It's funny that I have that number today, but I can't remember everything. But the system is going to do that. So when you start growing, that's when you know, like, you can make more data-informed decisions to not make any mistakes and like focus on somebody that's not really into what you're doing. So that's essentially what engagement scoring is. And this is something that a lot of my clients want because they want to know like who to focus their efforts on because when they make data-informed decisions, they're able to basically grow their business accordingly. And I reward people that are highly engaging. Like Billy is a highly engaging networking partner of mine. Because of that, I want to provide him value. I see some people in here that I know. Gail is highly engaging. Kemia is highly engaging. I don't know everybody here, but the thing is, hey, I want to do a one-on-one with you. So see if I could get your bio in my CRM so I can make further connections for you. Like that's really the goal, you know. And because I give down the line, those people will give back to me, and we're creating a win-win situation. Like that's my goal to create a win-win situation where both parties are benefiting from getting to know each other. So yeah, and the last thing is, like, I'll share this in the last slide too. This is me giving you value because I love value stacking. The thing is, I basically would like to have a meeting with you guys and even the people I already know. I want to reconnect with you because if I reconnect with you, I get to know you better. So therefore, I could give you more value and you could give me more value. So they're both benefiting. But this link will be shared with you guys in emails too as well. But the goal is if you want to have a mutual conversation to see how we can support each other, feel free to book a meeting with me. And also too, if you don't want to do that, that's fine. I want to provide you guys value. I have a guide on choosing the right CRM, and I have a guide called Ethical List Building. And this is very important. The Ethical List Building Guide basically tells you how to make sure you ethically build your list so that you don't get demoted by the email service providers. If you're doing it the wrong way, they're gonna penalize you, and now your emails are most likely to go into the spam box. So these are things that you want to do in order to make sure that you're nurturing those relationships with people and make sure people are actually getting your email in the primary inbox. But anyways, these are the things that I want to provide to you. And the last thing that I want to share with you is oh, yeah. Just to summarize it, like what I just showed you, it allows you to reclaim your time. turning overwhelm into opportunity. Without systems, you understand that opportunities slip through the cracks. It's there's only so much you could do in an Excel spreadsheet or a notebook, and that's fine. Start there, but when you know things are slipping through the cracks, when you know you're being inefficient, that's when you know you need to reinvest in yourself and invest in a CRM that's going to truly help you grow. And the last thing is my quote that I really live by is you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. That's with the Atomic Habits. Forget the guy's name, James Clear. The thing is, if you don't have a system in place, your goal reaching is always going to be inconsistent and sporadic. If you have a system in place, then you're going to be consistently growing, and people are going to remember you too as well because you have such a I don't know, refined system. And that's how people remember me. That's how people remember my clients because I've implemented systems for them where people are like, wow, this person's really sharp in terms of organization and follow-up. Like I want to make sure to stay in contact with him. And in turn, that creates opportunities for both parties. And last but not least, Billy, what do you have to say?
That's it. That's a link to the website. If you want to go to the website, I got a lot of cool, fun stuff there. That's it. Nice and easy. Keep it simple. I even on there, if you want, I'll give you a code in the email as we do a follow up. But there's a free 5 day, I'll make it free with the code, a 5 day challenge where you can try the video marketing and it takes you step by step. And it takes 5 days. And by the end of 5 days, you should be able to add people into your CRM. I'll put
Yeah.
it in a follow up email. Do you
And
want
like
to
Billy
do?
said, oh, go ahead. Like Billy said, like I like what you said, Billy. Like you're using video marketing, like utilize your skill to showcase to
Mhm.
people. Like my skill is tracking in CRMs so that I could provide value. Like Billy has a different skill, Gail has a different skill. All of you guys have a different skill, but showcase that skill so people know you. And here's the thing, the reason why I like technology and automation and streamlining operations, because it gives us more time to be human. And that is your biggest differentiator in your business. There's thousands of people that do what we do, but now when you refine your systems, now you have more time to engage with your customers, prospects, business partners, and that engagement is your biggest value add that give to that particular contact in your business. Billy, go for it.
I'm in, man. We're awesome. So I'm gonna say we'll do this. We'll see if you have questions first. If so, just like raise your hand or unmute. And then if once we have all the live questions, then I'll hop into the chat because we have like 3 or 4 questions there. But let's start with you all first. See if you have any questions or anything I can explain or help out. There was a question. There
I'll
was
ask
something
the
that popped up.
question. It's not a digital hand up. I just unmuted
Go
myself.
for it. Yeah.
Sorry.
Do it. Yes.
Um,
We're very informal here. We got
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
okay, yeah, I just barged in. No, thanks so much for all of this. And I mean, I just want to reiterate what you both said because the reason I'm here is because I mean, I've kept up with Billy a lot more than you, Brandon, but I met Brandon a while ago and I just feel both of them are just so authentic and just human behind the business. And that's something that I think is rare when, all of us as business owners are going to network and we're going to market ourselves. And, we're used to people just constantly pitching us, but I've seen it be successful in my own business when you're
Mhm.
just giving and giving. So that was my statement, but here's my question.
Mhm.
Um, do you ever, not in terms of really automation, because I know LinkedIn will, penalize you if you're trying to
Yes.
automate ads and stuff,
Yes.
but can you sync like if you want a message from there? I know you can or things like that. Do you ever do that through like platforms where you're linking their LinkedIn to it, but also say you want to message them through LinkedIn or you want to email them or something like that?
So LinkedIn, they're really strict on making what do you call it, integrations between other third parties. However,
Hmm.
like the CRMs in my tool belt don't have an integration with LinkedIn, but they have an integration with like Facebook and Instagram. So
Hmm.
if somebody messages me on Instagram, I'll see it within my CRM, and I can have
Yeah.
that conversation back and forth or whatnot. So I can nurture that relationship with them. But right now, that's the CRMs in my tool belt don't have an integration with LinkedIn yet. I'm hoping in the future it will because it's really nice to have
Yeah.
everything all in one place where you could just do all your communications through there. Because I have
Hmm.
some people that have a LinkedIn, not a, sorry, a Facebook or I was gonna say Instagram account, and
Hmm.
then their emails associated with it. I have all their profile information stored in one section. So when I
Yeah.
communicate with them, I see all their communications on all the different platforms in one section, which makes it nice. But right now, there's no integration between LinkedIn and the CRMs in my tool belt. I'm not sure if you know of any. CRMs that connect to LinkedIn? Because LinkedIn is pretty
I
secure.
just know they're more strict, but I think that's
Yeah.
helpful regardless that you have the social connected. Because sometimes, people will like send you a DM or send you a Facebook message. And
Yeah.
it's nice to just be able to see this person. Okay, this is what we talked about. Because there's,
Yeah.
lots of things going on.
There's
So,
And
for
if a person outreaches me to me on LinkedIn too as well, if I don't know them, and if they're really relationship driven, not like super salesy, like probably
mhm.
like 90% of the people.
yeah,
The thing
it's a
is,
lot.
like, I'll say, hey, it was great. I'm glad you reached out to me. Here's my calendar link. They book a meeting with me. It's stored in my CRM, and now all their information is stored in the
Yeah.
CRM, their phone, their email. I think that make the phone optional, but the email and their name is actually stored. Now I could communicate with them via email because they already booked a meeting with me. So that's my workaround. But right now,
Yeah.
there's an integration between. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and that makes sense. And I think that that's why also, like people like I've experienced before LinkedIn is pretty strict, but I mean um I feel like all of that regardless, having your socials there is just as helpful. And if it's able to even just pull their info and phone number, all that stuff, like it's still valuable. So okay.
Yeah.
For a while, and I gave up on it because time. But for a while, I was using a platform SendSpark where I was making personal videos in the LinkedIn DMs, and you can make it in a SendSpark app, and then you put it in there, and you can individualize it. I just gave up on time, but the response wasn't bad. It was just you would have to do so many of them to make it worthwhile. But doing things like that, a little more personal, I got a better response. And then I was, also focusing on the people I should actually be spending time on, and I just blaring it out to anybody that I was friends with on there. That was a waste of time. But things like that, you'll get a better response. Videos, voices, things like that. Gail.
Gail.
Yes, great information from both of you. This question's for Billy. So when you were talking about the strongest business values, were yours then while doing the interviews, was the providing attention one of them and marketing assistant is two of them? Is that second
Those, it is fun. I saw your question. That was great. And I was
one?
thinking about it as I went. Those were actually like the bonuses, the extras. Like my give it was giving. That was really the strength that they could tell that I was trying to give, that I really wanted to be there to help them because I wanted the business owners in my community to succeed, and they can tell that. They can feel it.
Right.
The the videos and the things were just my way of strategy for giving because I can't go into each and every business and say, "Hey, what's your pain point? How can I help you?" That's not that's not strategic. That's not scalable. And so I was like, well, if I do videos, I know they all need more attention and that's scalable and I can make a lot of those and I can make it very consistent. And so that's what I went with. It just made it a lot easier and it made me stand out a little more and it allowed me to give and not asking for anything in return. And I made lots of connections, lots of referral connections, and I met a lot of people that way. So I
And
hope
I'm
that
sure you
helps
got really
answer your
good at
question.
that too, Billy. Like you got pretty
Yeah.
fast at doing it. So
Yep.
yeah. In the beginning probably be slower, but like for me in my system, if I keep on doing it, it's like second nature to me. Like I do it really quickly.
Yep.
And people are like, "Wow, you just gave me a connection." Like at 5 minutes after we talk, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm really quick
Yeah.
at that. I store your information." So anyways,
And that's the other part.
yeah,
Yeah, so that's the other part, Gail. So once you meet the person, and then I kind of become like a business cupid a lot of times. Like I meet this person on that. I'm like, hey Fred, you need to meet George. You two are in great connection. One time I hooked a coffee shop owner up with a lender because the lender was looking for marketing and the coffee shop people needed those little sleeves to go on the coffee. Ever see those little sleeves to help? And he's like, I need to market. And they're like, oh, these sleeves are costing me a fortune. And I'm like, all right, well, you two need to sit down. And they're like, this is great. And so you become like a business cupid where you continue adding value. It's just the video for me ended up being something that was sustainable and it got me to know more people. And then, like Brandon said, you have other ways of giving. You have other things for
yeah,
charity. And I get myself roped into way more than I want to, but people see you as somebody they can trust. Even like weirdly enough, the mayor of our town will call me and check in on stuff like, hey, how are things going? We got some business and open up. What you got? And like, it's weird that people from economic development and the mayor call me every once in a while and just see if I can do anything to help just because I'm out here in the community doing all
hmm
these things for 15 years. And so
yeah. When you give
you get opportunities.
your name gets bigger and bigger. People
It
keep
does.
on talking about you. You're like doing marketing. You just
Yeah.
marketing. Yeah.
And somebody had that question
A-
too. If nobody else had any more questions,
Amy
there
had
was
a
one more.
question. I know Amy had Amy Wall.
Oh, Amy, go ahead.
Yeah, hi. I've been a fan of Brandon's for quite a while,
We all
as
are.
far
We're just
as his systems, and I wanted to ask about the engagement scoring, because again, we're talking about quality over quantity, right?
Right.
As far as, it's we're not getting followers, we're not getting,
Yeah.
likes and that kind of stuff. So is can that scoring be put into any CRM? Can
Some
it be
CRMs,
adaptable to that, or do we have to kind of build it from scratch, or what do you suggest?
no, most CRMs have like they either call it lead scoring or engagement scoring. Most good quality CRMs have it. If they don't have it, don't use them. But
Hmm.
most good ones, like well-known ones, usually have a lead scoring system or an engagement scoring system. The
Hmm.
CRMs in my tool belt, I have four CRMs in my tool belt. They all have engagement scoring.
I see.
Because it's very important because like you want to determine like who's really about working with you and having a mutual partnership as opposed to people who aren't about it. And it shows
Right.
up in their score. Like all the people that I know I like in my mind, it already reflects in their score. You know,
Hmm.
there's some people that that I had like, oh, I don't think this person could be a good networking partner. It actually proved me wrong a couple times where people are like really engaging. I'm like, oh, this person proved me wrong. They're a good partner. So things like that, like it's really helpful. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's where I am. I'm a fractional COO, and so I am finding,
Hmm.
and I'm in a lot of AI communities where
Hmm.
people are really starting to kind of kick the tires on AI and create their own CRMs. I just created my own CRM because I was never happy with any of the ones that I ever had. So
Hmm.
I created my own. And so I'm trying to figure out how to get that engagement scoring piece
Uh,
built into it because I think it's really crucial and it would be more specific, I think, to what I'm looking for in a prospect, in what those changed circumstances are that those prospects feel, to be able to match them to the witnesses or the people that would see that and become good referral partners. So I kind of have, from that cadence, I'm trying to figure out that engagement score. I was just curious to know if it was
yeah.
something adaptable.
Yeah, I mean, most CRMs have engagement scoring or lead scoring is what they call it. But you said that you have your own custom CRM that you built. I'm
Right.
assuming you
And
were vibe coding it using AI and everything like that. Vibe coding is
I'm
a
actually
quick
using
way to do
ClickUp.
coding. But
Yeah,
anyways,
I'm actually using ClickUp. I built it in
oh,
ClickUp
okay,
and
ClickUp.
using their AI and then
Okay.
and then again
Yeah.
zhuzhing it a little
So
bit
ClickUp
in the
doesn't have
background.
engagement scoring, but I'm assuming with your AI, I don't know the capabilities. I'm sure you could actually create like criteria to do that. I'm
Hmm.
not sure. Like I cannot say yes or no on that because
Okay.
ClickUp is more of a project management software, and some people do use it as a CRM. So because it's not a traditional CRM, it's most likely they will not have engagement scoring. That's my
Okay.
guess because it's not a traditional CRM, but people do uh
Yeah.
create it so that it could be used with CRM functions, but it's not a traditional
Right.
CRM.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. That helps. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And Amy, you mentioned another thing. Like there are a lot of people. I actually listen to this on a podcast. People have been creating their own CRMs
Yep.
using something called quote unquote vibe coding, where they're using AI to actually generate the code and make the CRM. But one
Yep.
of the person on the guest is like, yeah, it's good to create your own CRM. That's fine. But then there's going to be a lot of work to maintain it, add new features, make sure it's working right. And why don't you just go with an established CRM company and you don't have to worry about that. So there's advantages and disadvantages.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think for me, just because again, I use ClickUp because I want from that engagement to wrap into my marketing, to wrap into my delivery, to wrap into my
Mhm.
upselling. I've created this whole ecosystem for myself within that. So I was
Yeah.
just trying to see how it could fit. And
Yeah.
I have a handful of clients who like that. They're solopreneurs, and so they want something very specific.
Yeah, and then
And
the
so,
CRMs in my tool belt also do connect to ClickUp. So if a certain action happens
oh,
in
okay.
CRM where they become a customer, you
Then they
could
move
it
over.
triggers and moves it over into ClickUp so that you could
Okay.
have that seamless integration. Because the CRM is not a project management software, and ClickUp is not a CRM software. So that the
Right.
fact that they could talk to each other is a good in between two as well. Just so you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
So how we do? We have a few more in the chat, but if you got more questions too, hit us up. I think
Yeah. If
Brandon, you see
anybody.
everybody better than I do. I'm not trying to
Oh
cut
yeah,
people
yeah. If
off.
anybody has questions, they could just unmute. I think you guys could unmute
Unmute.
yourself. If you want to unmute yourself, this is I should just unmute everybody. Well, maybe that might
Um,
be a good thing.
Now, yeah, maybe hold on that. So if you don't, there's one question here
Go for it.
to Tanya. Tanya, are you saying that even if you are in a marketing business, you offer videos? Yes. In fact, I assume none of us are in marketing. That's the whole point, is for you and your business. I mean, I do really well. For example, I know Vinny just hopped out of the meeting. Financial people. Financial people right now, they're a dime a dozen. That's a big thing where everybody's hopping into that industry. But if they want to make themselves stand out a little bit, I teach them to go out and start meeting people in their community. Who's better, a referral partner or a business partner than local business owners? They're handling a lot of money. They're great advertisers. So when there's 10 financial planners in your community, if you're out there and start making these videos and start making connections in your community, you stand out. If you're out there trying to help your business owners succeed when Tom, Dick, and Harry are not, who's that business owner going to come to when they need something? They're going to come to you because you've been making videos for them. You've been connecting with people. You've been engaging, interacting with them. Like this system's for anybody. And as a matter of fact, I have a quick story. I'm gonna make it short because I did a video with somebody who's she owns a little boutique. It's a little clothing store, and I did a video with her. She's like, I love this. She took the time to go to all the other businesses on the same street as her, and she made videos with all the owners. And now she knows all the owners. When somebody's down at the restaurant, they're like, "Oh, I love this street." They're like, "Oh, we should go check out the boutique." Her business almost doubled just because now all the owners and all the people in those other shops send her business because they know her now. And it just works. It's wild. So yeah, Tanya, I assume you're not in marketing, that you're using these to make more connections, to grow more referrals, and to grow your business.
Right. No, we're
Cool.
technical writers. So the last thing we do is marketing videos.
No, it's easy though. But yeah, so it's actually keep it super simple. When you do these, when I teach people to do it, you just need, like I said, lapel, phone, whatever. And then you get to a business owner and you ask them the 5 W's: who, what, where, when, and how. And if you can stick to those 5 questions and do all your interviews on those 5 questions, that's it. I mean, you're not trying to do gotcha journalism. You're trying to show your audience who the owner is, so that way they go to buy their stuff instead of going to Starbucks. They go to the coffee shop owner because the owner's there pouring the coffee. They go to that bakery instead of Krispy Kreme because now they know the owner because you did a video and introduced them to that owner. And that's the whole point of it. It separates the local businesses, which are, in my opinion, the identity of every culture, every community. The identity is the local businesses.
Mhm.
And so we want to start, I always joke, I'm trying to put Walmart out of business. I don't want anybody to go Walmart ever again. It's not going to happen, but I'm trying.
Thank you.
So, yep. So yeah, it
And
works. It works. It works.
and Billy, the question from Theo Daniels, not sure he's here, but we might as well answer it anyways because this is
Yeah,
being.
yeah,
So he says, Billy, interested in podcasting component to help small business owners. Can the framework you mentioned work there?
yeah, yeah. Podcasting. So let's say, for example, Brandon and I, like, it works for better if you want to start getting out of your own community, right? And so you want to start meeting people other places. The same concepts are there, the same follow up. You got to continue making, like Emily was talking a little while ago. That's how she and I met, like through the podcast. People that are not in your community, but you can also meet people in your community. I've got a client in Nigeria. I was on his podcast and I talked about this, and he's like, "This is great." So he still does his international podcast, but then on off days, he'll go into his community and meet all the people in his community. He's like, he followed back up. He's like, now I know the person that owns that shop, and I know the old man that sits on the corner now. And he's like, I know all these people in my community I never knew, and it's just fun. But he still does his international broadcast. But the podcast is another way, again, to get in front of people, to meet
Mhm.
them, to give them something they need, and to make connections that separate yourself from everybody else. And you're having a lot of fun giving back to your community. Sounds
Exactly.
so cheesy, but it's true as well as cheesy.
And I wanted to add on to that. So I never wanted to be a podcast. So this is a lot of work. So I give credit to Billy for being able to do that
It's
and manage
easy.
that. I do what I call impromptu conversations that are recorded. So, for example, I had a lady in my network, Rachel Lee. She's a branding person. She's a really good partner of mine. We refer each other a lot of business. We have a good rapport. I said, hey, we should just get on a one-on-one call, record a conversation, ask each other questions so that people could learn more about us. We record the conversation. We basically cut up the videos and repurpose it for social media, giving each other more exposure and strengthening our relationship. Like those are things that I do for my really highly engaging networking partners in order to showcase each other with our from our respective like audience. I mean, you could do podcasting too, but I don't want to do podcasting because there's a lot of work behind the scenes and I don't want to deal with
There's not a lot of work. All right, so let me just,
that.
can I argue with Brandon in front of everybody? Like, all right, do this. So all I need is this microphone. This is a Yeti. Cost me 45 bucks on Amazon. My computer, which I already have, and then a place to post it. Like, you can put them in YouTube. You can put them in Spotify for free. Like it takes literally next to nothing. You can edit it if you want to, but I never really edit any of mine. I put a little commercial in the beginning and I put a little commercial in the middle, but you don't have to if you don't want to. But it just for $50 in your computer, you could do a podcast. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
Promise.
Yeah.
Thank you both. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any other
Cool.
questions?
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got you. Some awesome questions. This is the most
Yeah.
engaging workshop group I have had ever.
Yeah. I like
So
saving
it's
time for
awesome.
questions because to me that's where the magic happens, where people ask questions. Because I talk about things and I'm like, I don't know if these people want to learn about this, but I'd rather just get the questions because I'd rather answer them. So yeah. If there's no other questions, like yeah, we thank you for your time. If there's any other
Yeah, and
questions.
we'll have a follow-up email, right? And the follow-up email will have some information. If you
Yeah.
want to sit down with either he or I and talk about specifically your business, I will do that in a heartbeat. I love talking about marketing and I love coming up with ideas and I love being able to chat with people like how they can get out in their community more or meet more people. For me, it's
Yeah.
just fun. I don't know why.
We're in
I
the
spent a
same
lot of time, I've did a lot of time in the education field. And so now that I'm in the marketing field, it's just like there's a overlap. And so I just love doing it. So reach out.
yeah.
I'll sit down with you anytime.
Yeah, whether I know you or not know you, I still want to talk to you again
Yeah,
so I can learn more
it's fun.
about you and give you more value. Just like me and Billy are the same.
It is. And let's face it, my basketball bracket is busted up. There's nobody left on there anyway. So I mean, if I could watch it, but I got no skin in the game anymore. Like I got three teams left after yesterday and today. Jeez.
Cool. Well, I guess we're good. There's no other
That's
questions.
it.
If not, we appreciate you guys' time. Appreciate you
Thank you,
joining us.
everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Cool.
Thank you.
Have a good Friday. Have a good weekend.
Have a
Bye,
great
guys.
weekend.